All right, Grandpa, go ahead and say something.
Okay, I'm getting ready to tell the story. Oh, Grandma. December 3rd of 56, we all drove back to class. I think it was a Monday, and the registration was going to be on Tuesday. And so we were getting ready for the winter trimester, and K-Pal got out of the car and went on inside, and I said, I understand there's a film on downtown called Magnificent Obsession, starring Rock Hudson. Are you interested in going to a movie? Yes, she wanted to go to a movie. So since we didn't have registration till the next morning, we went to a movie. It was not a prearranged date in any sense of the word, but when we got back up there, for some reason I leaned over and started to give her a kiss. Now she's in her first year and I'm in my fifth year. So I leaned over to kiss her, and she gave me a kiss like I have never had before or since. And I says to myself, I believe she's been storing that up. I didn't see her again until, I don't know what was, the day after Christmas or whatever. The pastor asked if I had been ordained yet in the fall, because I was supposed to be ordained a priest up at Warrensburg, and I was ordained in October by a person that I really, really cared a lot about, and the appointee. And I said, yes. He said, well, would you like to do your first sermon? And I said, depends. Can I also bring my own singer? And they said, who? And I kind of looking over their shoulder almost. I wondered who in the world I want to bring. I said, Carolyn Sutton oh yeah, you can bring Carolyn Sutton. So she came down to sing. She came down and then sang for my first sermon. So the very first time that I preached, we were a team. We were going to exchange our class rings on New Year's Eve. We wanted to exchange them at midnight. So we went a couple of miles away and parked on the side of the road. And we had our rings ready to exchange, both of us. And we woke up about 2 o'clock. And we had just gone to sleep and slept right through. So we exchanged rings at 2 o'clock, and then I took her back home. And I crawled in bed with JR. Oh, well, yeah. So we were serious enough that when we exchanged rings, it already meant in less than a month, we were more serious than just going steady. And going steady was a serious step in those days. So about the end of January, we ordered rings. We got married July 7th in 1957. 7/7/57 was our wedding. So 7/7/07 was our 50th anniversary. And if you look at my license plate, it's LM, which stands for Love More, 00007, 07/07/07 on my license. We had 57 years together as a team. Started out right because she sang for that first sermon. Sang like a bird. Oh, the first year that we started working for the church, we were sent to California, and I was to enroll in what was considered one of the top 5 theological institutions in the country, the Southern California School of Theology. Used to be associated with University of Southern California, USC. So I was enrolling, and whoever was enrolling me as a student looked at my wife and said, "Are you going to be enrolling here too?" "No." "Well, are you going to be auditing?" And she says, "I don't know. What's the auditing like here?" She says, "Well, for $10 a class, you can audit everything that you want to audit." And she says, "Well, I'll audit his schedule." And so we sat together in class. We worked on papers together. We studied together for tests. And although she didn't have to take the test or write the paper, she had major input in what went into the paper. So although she had only gotten 1 year of on-campus college before we were married, and then other college courses along the way at different institutions, she was auditing courses at a doctoral level and could have passed the same tests I took. And so we didn't have any problem talking with each other about all this stuff because she'd studied it with me. And the 2 weeks that I had to go to Temple School in the middle of that year and go to Independence right at exam time, it happened to be in January, she recorded all of the lectures for me, and I was able to hear all the lectures, and then she added whatever else she could that had gone in and gone on in class that wasn't on the recording. And so it didn't matter. We were a team. The last, I would say, I'd have to go look at the books to be precise, but I would say it was probably the last 10 months of her life we had hospice come once a week, hospice doctor come once a month, and then I had somebody hired to come in and spend, I tried 6 hours a day, I couldn't afford 6, narrowed it to 5.5. And so at least 5, maybe 5.5 hours every day, 7 days a week, we had somebody to come in and help with their care that last 9 months. She had care. And the last few weeks, Barb and Rob came down from Prescott and stayed in the guest room, so they were only 20, 25 feet away. And the last few weeks, Rob and I shared the night hours. So one of us was awake for half of the night, and then the other one was awake for the other half of the night. So she had 24-hour care. Yeah. When we said "I do," we really meant it. January 17th of 1960, I was in a bind. I now had a daughter, and I didn't know how to be a father to her. I had my real father who showed me that to be a good dad, it means if things get tough, you leave. And then I had a stepfather who taught me if things get bad, you take it out on somebody. And he took it out on me 3 times in the 4.5 years that I knew him. So here I am, early 8th grade, like October. Started to rain outside, and my stepfather came in and said something like, "I thought I told you to dig those potatoes, and now it's raining out there." And I would call it typical 13-year-old, and so my reply to him was not clearly thought out. And I said, I don't see you out there digging. So he picked up the thing nearest to him and started after me. And I outran him to a neighbor's house while he is carrying in his hand the meat cleaver from the butcher block at the back of that store. But I got to the neighbors, and the neighbor man went out in the front yard and said, "You come in this yard, they're going to kill you." And so he just stayed out in the front until the police came. If you have any relationships that are broken, you shouldn't. And the only way to shouldn't is mend them. And I guess my trying to search for the men who abused me when I was in second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade, looking for them to build fences, tear the fences down and build bridges where they used to be, has made my life a whole lot richer. I would say the greatest thing that I have learned from Community of Christ is twofold. Number one, forget about trying to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. And not being perfect, my job is to be servant to other people who also are not perfect. I've got a mind that's very questing, and I used to make lists of things that I needed to do or be. And I had a list of 10 things that I needed to do to get rid of all of the imperfections that I had. Actually, the list would have been a lot longer, but I narrowed it down to just 10. First one was to stop losing my temper. Made me mad every time I lost my temper. And I found out I couldn't make myself stop losing my temper. I had to forgive the people who made the temper in there so fragile. And once I forgave the people who were abusers of me, a person, when I was a kid, when I started looking for them, to build bridges between me and them instead of fences, once I really got serious about looking for them, I realized I don't have a temper anymore. It's gone. I didn't have to be perfect, but I had to be a servant to other people. And when that was my responsibility, I didn't have my temper anymore. But the things I had learned along the way about responsibility, capabilities, potential for other capabilities that you're constantly in the process of developing, having observed other people on how to be a father, I just figured, well, I want to teach my kids how to talk. I want to teach them how to sing, teach them how to do numbers and how to read maps, do the things that I had learned as a child. And if I could convey those as lovingly as I knew how, that's how you be a dad. My poor, poor, poor English says how I live my life. If you ain't got relationships, you ain't got nothing. So I guess the things that make leadership possible and the things that relate also to fatherhood, of treating everybody as a worthful person, you'll just have to ask my daughters if I learned how to do that. So I was lead timer at our track meets and assisting the track coach. And after one particular meet, I remember the girls wanted to run back toward the car. So I held their hands. Nancy was on my left, Barb was on my right, I remember. So we're running along, and Barb kind of stumbled a little bit. And so I kind of picked her up and was going to carry her, but I had her left arm and she was on my right. So like a pendulum, here she came, and her feet got tangled with mine, and mine got tangled with Nancy, and the three of us arrived in a little heap. Tore my pants, and all kinds of stuff happened. And Mom back there is just laughing away. But I guess that somehow that taught us that we were a family. What is it in religion that is strong, and what is it in religion that can be troublesome? And one of the things that I have found is that some individuals have a great deal of trust in what they call God as a puppet string puller and manipulates you in life. And they have this idea that Jesus is sitting on one shoulder telling you what to do, and the devil is sitting on the other shoulder telling you what to do, and you're the battleground between these two eternal forces. And no matter what you do, you keep losing. I have tried to be sure that in my understanding of faith and who God is something that fits in with the whole of nature. It can't be separate from the way nature operates. The way the sun and planetary relationships exist in our world are the same way they exist millions of light years away in other galaxies and solar systems. And so to me, I believe in a God who is the persona of the universe. Now, persona, for me, means I have a persona. When something happens to me, the way I react is consistently my description, different than any other persona. Other members of my family don't respond the same way I do. The thing is that if I'm being a healthy individual, I am fitting in with the way the universe operates. And as soon as I try to live in a way that is separate from the way the universe works, I have trouble. And I believe that the whole universe, because of its uniformity and consistency, has a persona. And since I'm part of the universe, my persona can communicate with the persona of the universe if I stay constantly aware that I can't get out of the system under which I'm created and live in. So to me, God is the persona of the universe. Can I communicate? Yes. Can I feel in my being that I'm in contact with and in consistency with? Yeah, I can. But I can also get out of that. And if I get selfish and try to take care of myself, that doesn't work in the universe. The sun doesn't take care of itself. It burns itself up for our benefit. So I've got to be in constant consistency with the universe. And then I'm consistent with my God. After my wife Carolyn passed away, and we had gone through all of the memorial service and other sorts of things, there still was something gnawing about. We hadn't really adjusted to the loss. And so in 2016, my daughters took me on a cruise. And the three of us spent a week on the cruise together. And in fact, where I'm sitting, I can look up on the wall and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 pictures and 3 places where there are words involved recounting that trip. Behind every young child who believes in herself lies a person who believed in her first.